powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Now, live from inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, it's Football at 4.
All right, Football at 4 is powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. It's brought to you by Caesars Entertainment Group of Atlantic City. Come experience the ultimate sports destination all season long. Book your game day experience today at Caesars.com. Mike Gill with you. A Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast, and that is Jeff Mosher and this man, Adam Caplan, who joins us with a wild set of circumstances on this Friday. Adam, how are you?
I'm good, Mike. Yes. So everybody knows by now, or should know by now, that the Eagles game was moved to Tuesday at 7 p.m. And in fact, a doubleheader. What the odd thing is, I don't know why the league has put a West Coast game at the same exact time. Why wouldn't they have it at 10 p.m. Eastern or 10:30 p.m. Eastern is beyond me. Why would you have it go against the other game is stupid. But I double-checked to make sure there was a mistake. It was not. The Rams actually sent their statement out and said it is at the same time as the Eagles game. So it's bizarre. Nevertheless, the weather looks good, actually, by Tuesday. It was another thing people weren't talking about yet, but we'll have to look at, is the weather should be fine for Tuesday. And it's not what the league wanted. The league threatened, teams about doing this, about fines and forfeits and all sorts of stuff. But guess what? They didn't do it. They backed down through pressure from the NFLPA. So here we are. Yet another time we have a game moved, and this time it's the Eagle.
Yeah, there's 3 games. The Raiders-Browns has moved to Monday night at 5 o'clock. Washington-Philadelphia, 7 o'clock on Tuesday. Seattle and the Rams also 7 o'clock on Tuesday. That's the big question, Adam. The league, I guess, essentially caved here because they did say at the beginning of the year you would forfeit games, correct? Wasn't that they were not moving games? So when did that change? Was there some sort of agreement that happened where that changed?
Well, I know this. I have a very strong source who was 1,000% correct last year, said that they really never wanted to move games, and they absolutely in fact, I know you asked me repeatedly whether the season will take off and all this, and I said yes. I had one guy tell me, who's my best source in the league, said if they had to play 50 backups or sign guys who were retired or play all special teams players, whatever the case may be, they would do it. They were getting the season in, and the guy was correct. Same guy told me before the season started, we're not moving games this year, that we're going to penalize the clubs. Well, 5 months later, the league backed down. Unless they issue a statement out or decide they're going to fine teams, fining is one thing. Docking draft picks or doing something punitive is another. They're not. They've not indicated they're going to do that. I'm not saying I'm disappointed. I don't have any stake in it, but the league has said repeatedly that they're not going to move games, and they're gonna penalize. Because basically what they've said, Mike, is you're on your own here. You take care of your own house. And Cleveland and Washington especially had very bad breakouts. We saw the breakout last year with the Titans. They got fined. I know a lot of teams were really mad at the league and the Titans. They thought the Titans should have locked draft picks. So it's not been what most people around the league thought. And over the next 48 hours, I look forward to hearing from people around the league and other teams, because when things like this happen, when the league has shown leniency or not done what other teams should do or think they should do, typically you get strong responses. So I look forward to finding out about that.
Yeah, I mean, what do you make of, I guess I'm assuming, a lot of the social media, Darius Slay, Eagles players, it seems that the players who were on the teams that, didn't do anything wrong, I mean, in some instance, if you're the Eagles, you're in a playoff situation. Your game is moved to Tuesday. Now, they had a bye, so it's not like they've been off extra time. So you're going to play Tuesday, and I'm imagining again on Sunday, right? They're not going to do anything with the Sunday game.
It will not be moved. No way it's going to be moved unless, again, knock on wood. The Eagles have done such a great job with COVID, and the Giants have had a little bit of a worse situation than the Eagles. Plus, they're beat up physically. But again, that game is also, remember now, that game's at home, so the Eagles don't have to travel anyway. So we'll see what happens here, but it's very disappointing that this got moved to Tuesday night. I don't care if someone in the media. I'm not a beat writer, so it doesn't impact me. I know beat guys hate it when they move games, not only to a different day, which rarely happens.
Well, I said, look,
but at night.
Adam, I said, look, take the Eagles out of this. It's not fair to Vegas. It's not fair to Seattle, who got put in this situation that they were told, we did everything right. We've had our I's dotted, T's crossed. Now, again, do I want to see a forfeit? No, I don't want to see a forfeit. I'd rather see the game played. Do I want to see a compromised game played? Not necessarily. So I don't know. I don't know what the right thing is here, but Tuesday just puts the Eagles at a disadvantage. That's my thought.
Yeah, so as we move into kind of discussion of the game, and this is where the game being moved is, this absolutely helps Jalen Hurts. Okay, there's no question. That is the under-discussed, unreported issue here with the games being moved. And Washington has some. Not only did they have, actually they're up to I think 23 players on the COVID list. They had a couple come off, then they had 3 added. So now that includes also some practice squad players, but Jalen Hurts, who's still very questionable to play. Although we haven't got the injury report yet. I know Nick Sirianni said one thing. We'll see if that's actually true.
Right.
About him practicing fully and what that really means. But, Jalen Hurts has the ankle injury. Our Jeff Mosher said it's also residual effect of his heel, which has been sore. Give him a couple extra days will help him. Gives Miles Sanders a couple extra days. He's going to play anyway. And Jordan Howard coming off the sprained knee. So Steven Nelson, by the way, told us on ITV TV he's playing. And true to his word, he took his reps and he's playing. So there are your Eagles injury issues, and I'm telling you, this absolutely should be impacting Jalen Hurts' ability to play this week.
Yeah, the question was, what's the status of quarterback Jalen Hurts for Sunday? Sirianni, he was full today. He's questionable, but he's trending in the right direction, and we're hopeful.
Well, again, you're getting 2 extra days. Remember now, the walkthrough would have been tomorrow.
Right.
Would have played Sunday. There's no walkthrough on Saturday and Sunday, unless he decides to do something Sunday, which he could do. But the walkthrough now will be on Monday, and the game is Tuesday night. In fact, remember, it's not being played Tuesday during the day. It's being played at night, so he's getting 2.5 days worth of healing.
Yeah.
So I hate this. I don't know this for a fact. Where I think Moshe and I have similar information. I would have called him very questionable to play at best for this game, despite what Sirianni said.
Moshe said Wednesday here on Football at 4, Adam, that he would say 50-50 and lean towards he was not going to play.
Right. Now, again, we've got this new information.
Yeah.
He gets extra time to heal here. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. And Gardner Minshew obviously would start. And I also think this is just a guess, but knowing the way coaches do this and docs, if he's cleared to play, he's starting. I don't see him just being a backup. That's foolish to me, considering he took reps today with the first-team offense. If he's ready to go, he's got to be started. Why would you have him as a backup? Because he's one injury away from coming in.
Just to let the listeners in, Sirianni did say today that Minshew did take reps with the first team as well today.
Sure.
Now, Sirianni, when he spoke this afternoon, he was under the impression they were playing Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Yep.
So that's key to keep in mind. Adam, one other injury thing, Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders, it sounds like they're both going to be ready to roll.
Yeah, they're going to go. Yeah, no doubt. The only thing with Sanders is how long could he last? Because you saw in the Jets game, it was great, best game of the year, but he was hobbled badly. He left the game. He was limping. He had a good, as we understand it, he had a good week of practice, whatever reps he got. Jordan Howard coming to the sprained knee. The question is, before we move to Washington, what's the rotation going to be? You're not typically going to have 4 backs up. You typically have 3. I get 2 of her come back from injury. If they think Sanders and Howard are ready for regular roles, I would think Kenny Gainwell will be the odd man out because Boston Scott has been terrific.
Yeah, I like Scott getting touches in moderation.
Sure.
Now, the list of Washington injuries, many of these are COVID-related, but who of the injured Washington players are in peril?
All right, so this benefits a couple things. Okay, let's talk about. We'll sum. We don't have an hour, so I'll sum this up in 3 minutes. Taylor Heineke from Old Dominion, who I've been watching since the 2016, I think, East-West Shrine game, or 15, 16, whatever the heck it was. He had a knee issue. Well, that knee issue is no longer an issue. It's a right elbow issue. He's on the COVID list. He will have a chance to come off of it and play, I would believe. Because he's fully vaccinated, so we'll see what happens. The thought was that he would not be able to play if the game was Sunday. Now it's Tuesday night. Maybe he plays. Terry McLaurin, who has a concussion, he's close to being cleared. He's got one more step in the concussion protocol. You would think he'd be cleared now that the game's back 2 days. Curtis Samuel, he's had all sorts of injury issues. He now has a hamstring issue in addition to the groin issue. Maybe this helps him. Now, defensively, this is where they got major problems. Jonathan Allen, their star defensive tackle, signed a mega extension earlier this year. He's on the COVID list. Maybe this helps him. Tim Settle's one of the key backup D tackles. Maybe this helps him. Maybe this helps Montez Sweat, who's on the COVID list, come back from his broken jaw. My understanding is he would be available if not on the COVID list. And the corners, Kendall Fuller is one of their corners. Start one of their top 3 corners. This may help him come back. So it's really just unfortunate that they had this breakout. And, the problem that players have, and I think this is where some of the player complaints are coming. The fully vaccinated players, and like a peace offering to get the players to be vaccinated, the NFL pushed the Players Association to agree to testing only once a week, typically on Mondays, if you're fully vaccinated.
Yep.
The problem is, let's say you test negative Monday, you get the results back. Who says you can't get it later in the week and spread it around the building? That, to me, would be a logical guess of what's happened with Washington. That's the problem.
What do you make of what Jerry Jones? Did you hear what Jerry Jones said, Adam?
No. What did he say?
Essentially, Jerry Jones, I think he was on 105, whatever station he's on down there, he does his hit in.
He has a radio show or something.
Yes, in Dallas. He said that moving forward, quote, I think we will get to a point probably this week that will only test if symptomatic, that if you've been vaccinated, that's a good thing. Test when you're symptomatic, and that's it.
Well, but you have to be fully vaccinated for that to happen, you mean?
That's what he said. If symptomatic, that's if you've been vaccinated.
Right. So the new protocols that just came out yesterday, the updated protocol, if you're fully vaccinated, you only have to be tested once instead of you only have to have 2 negative tests if you test positive. Now you only have to have 1.
Right.
Now, if I'm listening correctly here, you're just saying if you're fully vaccinated now, Jerry Jones thinks you should only be tested once. It doesn't have anything to do with you testing positive. You just have
I think what a lot of people are, and we're all very fatigued by this, it's to the point where you're like, look, if you are asymptomatic and you are healthy enough to play and you're vaccinated, should you be in the protocol that you cannot play? In other words, if you have, if you are asymptomatic and feel healthy enough to play, should they now allow those players to play?
Right, and that's the thing now. Again, nobody's an expert here, though we should listen to the experts. You're seeing, and this has been a real problem, so many players are asymptomatic. It's not, by the way, it's not just here. It's in the NBA and other sports because they all been hit this week. Some of these guys feel great. I mean, I've had 2 friends of mine who are very close to me who've had COVID twice. The one of them, the second time he had it, he never felt sick. I mean, again, I'm not taking sides on this. Mm-hmm. I'm just calling it down the middle.
Yeah.
But it's just this is look, nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect in what we're finding out.
Like a friend of yours, like if he's not feeling anything, how did he know he had it? Was he required to be tested for his job or something? Like, how do you know?
I'm going to give you a hint. He worked for an NFL team.
Gotcha.
So talk about who he works for.
No, that's fine. It's just like I, to my knowledge, I have not had it, so I don't know. Like I've not felt to the point where, like you're saying, this guy never felt anything, but he knew that he had it, so he must have had a job where he needed.
No, what happened was someone in his family had it, so he had to be tested, and he got it. Yeah, because someone wasn't feeling right, and someone close to him was tested and was positive. So this guy, who's in coaching, got tested, and he wound up having it. But he said, "Man, I feel fine. I'm asymptomatic." And as an NFL coach or executive, you have to be now. And by the way, they're all now required to get the booster, and that's kind of where it's at.
On the field, it's very tough to break this down because the Eagles' offense against the Washington defense, we don't really know what the Washington defense is going to look like.
Yeah, but nothing will change, though. They're going to run the ball, Mike. The Eagles are going to run the ball. That's what they do. I don't care who the quarterback is. They're not. I know people have been saying, coming out of the bye, what would they do? We saw, last week. They're a running football team. That's what they do. They're coming out of the bye relatively healthy body. It's something we haven't talked a lot about, knock on wood. They're going to run the football. That's probably the best way to sum up this offense. I mean, what would you think they would do, Mike?
Oh, I agree, especially against this muted front that Washington's probably going to throw out there. I almost would say, Bill Belichick, can you give me your game plan from the Buffalo game in the wind? Can you give me those? Right?
Yeah, well, that was because of the wind, and you're not going to ask Mac Jones to throw the ball because he can't through the wind. But, yeah, it's pretty interesting, isn't it?
Well, I mean, in Philadelphia, you got Minshew. If he plays, he doesn't have the strongest noodle in the world. And Hurts is not, a guy who's ripping it through the wind either, I would imagine. So run. Defensively here, it was going to be Garrett Gilbert was going to get the call. I guess who's going to play quarterback now for Washington?
We don't know. Yeah, in fact, Tuesday night, the latest weather is fine. Tuesday night, winds are light in the 20s, high 20s. We won't have any bad weather, so you'll be able to throw in that weather. We don't know yet because we're way too far out from now. Again, as I said earlier, who knows who'll get cleared. But
they did sign Garrett Gilbert, though, right? And the report was that if the game was Sunday, he was going to start for them.
Garrett Gilbert knows the offense because he had been in it, Scott Turner's offense before with Carolina. But they're another team that's committed to the run. Scott Turner and Ron Rivera made that decision about 4 weeks ago that they're gonna stop asking Taylor Heineke to throw, and they're committed to the run. And Antonio Gibson, they've done that. Now, depending on the COVID issue, their defense has changed completely, just like Kansas City did. They were mostly a man coverage team. They're now moved to mostly zone. That's really helped. And by the way, it's been the exact opposite with the Eagles. They played more zone defense than any team in the National Football League through 8 weeks, about 90%. Mm-hmm. Now the Eagles, the last 5 weeks, are in the upper half of playing man coverage, which is surprising, but it's worked for them. So it's been a change.
So let me ask you real quick, Adam, why are you guys going to move the Inside the Birds pregame show?
Yes, we can announce that. Thank you for asking. It's me, Jason Avant, and Mosher on Tuesday from what time's the game? 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern. 4 to 6 p.m. You could see it on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter.
Okay.
So we are moving it, and it'll be live in Technicolor. And we will also drop an updated game preview for Monday morning because we'll have additional information from both teams.
Okay. Real quick, Quez Watkins, he was on the COVID list, right? Does he? I guess we don't know if he's going to be ready for Tuesday night, but if he cannot play, how do you see them? Where do you see those snaps going?
Yeah, so I don't think it's going to change much because they're a running team. I think Rager may get a couple more targets. Devontae Smith better because he had got less snaps the previous game. So I would think those two, and obviously Goddard's got to be a bigger factor. You saw against the Jets, he was absolutely dominant. No one could stop him. He, to me, should be the focal point of this offense, not Smith. It should be Goddard 1 and Smith 1A. No one seems to be able to handle Goddard when they actually target him heavily.
Yeah.
And that, to me, should be the way that they go here.
All right, so there's the news. As you heard, Adam Caplan from the Inside the Birds podcast. Number one, if you're a fan of watching their pregame show, it's Tuesday night, 4 o'clock. They'll do the pregame on YouTube and all their social media channels. Eagles, Washington, that game has been moved to Tuesday at 7. We'll carry it here on 97.3 ESPN. And, boy, what a day this has been in the NFL.
I know, man.
All right, Adam, good to see you, buddy.
Thank you. See you.